Hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. After 10 months of exploring herself, this cheater came back expecting open arms and old keys to still fit the locks. Today on rSpace, when coming home doesn't quite go as spiritually planned, wife ghosted me for a trip to find herself and cheated. She came back to locked house and divorce papers. I, 57 male, have been married for 3 decades with this woman, Eliza, early 50s. We have 4 kids, all grown up. The eldest one is married and the youngest is in university. It has been financially challenging for us, raising 4 kids, their needs, their education. I felt like I had been hustling all my life. Despite that, I never felt burnt out because I was doing it for my family. I had a purpose. I had a great family, fulfilled marriage. If you'd told me 5 years ago that my marriage would end with my wife vanishing across the world to find herself, I'd have said you were crazy. After being together for so many years, I thought I knew her better than anyone. Turns out, I didn't know her at all. For context, Eliza wanted to travel the world before she dies. She has some kind of paranoia that death is coming for her, though she's fit and healthy. Even if she got minor allergies or a sore throat, she would tie it to some terminal illness. It started when her aunt, who was fit and fine, suddenly had a heart attack and was gone. Even her father battled with Alzheimer's for many years. It got so bad that he couldn't even remember his own children. When his condition worsened, he had to be sent to a memory care facility, but until that spot opened up, we had to take care of him for 5 or 6 months. And I'll never forget watching her try to hold it together, cooking for him, taking care of his meds and supplements, telling stories to someone who no longer recognized her face. After he was moved to the facility, something broke in her. She started to spiral, panicking over little lapses in memory or slight chest pain, convinced that she was next. I told her it was just stress, that she would be okay, but she didn't believe me. She had sought therapy, meditation, and all remedies, but nothing seemed to work. To add to her distress, she lost her dad within a few months. Losing 2 family members within a year wasn't easy for her. She stopped going out with friends, stopped doing the things she loved. Every night, she'd stroll through forums about terminal illnesses, heart diseases, reading stories until 2, 3 in the morning. Whenever I tried to talk her out of this, she would beg me to take her out to see the world. Ultimately, I gave in. Life has been exhausting for me as well. So many years of constant hustle, and when it was time for things to mellow down, her anxiety and mental health issues popped up. I started feeling burnt out, which I had never felt in so many years. So after our youngest one moved out for university, we started planning for a nomadic life. We had no major responsibilities. The kids are independent. Our plan was to travel until we ran out of savings, but before that, we had to sort a lot of stuff, settle all our debts, pay off all our credit cards, sell our house and cars, pay the mortgages, and have a backup plan in case we want to return to our normal lives. We decided to spend this year preparing for it so that we don't have to deal with a mess in case we decide to return. We hadn't yet decided what to do with life. What's the backup plan when the savings dry up? The idea was that the travel would give us clarity on what we want to do with the rest of our lives. While I was getting all the ducks in a row, one evening I came back from work and she was gone. I entered the house and it felt off. Drawers were open, things were scattered. I panicked, thinking someone had broken in. I rushed to the bedroom. The closet was half open. Clothes were gone. I was about to call the cops when I noticed her side of the closet was empty while mine was untouched. Saw the backpack was gone. I thought she had to go somewhere urgently, but why hadn't she informed me? I checked my phone to see if I had missed any calls or texts. Nothing was there. I walked through the hallway to the kitchen. On the counter there was a folded note. It said she'd quit her job and taken some of our savings to travel to find herself and see the world before it's too late. Ended with, "Maybe I'll be back in a year, maybe sooner, I don't know yet." I froze. I couldn't believe she was gone without any discussion. I called her. It went straight to voicemail. I tried to remember the conversations we had in the last few days, but couldn't find any hint at all. Even that morning, she was normal. Didn't say anything that she was about to disappear. What a cunt. I'm so stupid that I thought she was kidnapped or in some kind of danger. I checked the door cam and found no clue of trespassing. Saw her happily walking away with a backpack. She had switched off her location, so I couldn't track her. I checked her accounts. Her sum of our savings turned out to be half of them. The money that we were saving for various commitments. She ran away with half of it. Our finances are messy and complicated. Though our salaries were credited to our separate accounts, we moved most of them to our joint account. Had several of them. One for the household expenses, one for the mortgages, one for the monthly investments we made into equity, etc. One for the savings, for retirement, travel, emergencies, and whatever remains we were putting into our plan B when we return from our vacation or start a nomadic business. There wasn't much in the first 3 joint accounts because whatever we were putting in there was going in towards expenses, mortgages, and investments. She'd pulled out more than half of the money from the savings joint account and from the one that we were building for plan B. I immediately transferred all the remaining money to my personal account and called a lawyer. He asked me to wait for a week in case she returns. It seemed to be a better option. After 30 years of marriage, our finances were tangled and it would take a lot of hassle and money to get them straight. I was also hopeful that she would realize her mistake and return. It took me days to process the betrayal. I didn't want to believe it was real. Then a few days later, I saw the proof on Instagram. She was standing in front of a waterfall in Bali, beaming with energy. The caption said, "Starting my healing journey, grateful for my husband's support and letting me explore myself." I was flabbergasted. Let her go? She hadn't asked, and the comments were all praise. "You're so brave. You deserve this. Good for you, girl." No one cared that she'd emptied our savings. No one knew that I was sitting at home, wondering how I was going to pay the mortgage alone without losing my crap. 3 mortgages: the house, her car, my car. I even considered not paying for her car and letting it get repossessed. But her car mortgage is in my name. I had paid the down payment. I could not screw up my credit score to get back at her. The house and utility bills would remain the same, irrespective of her presence. So essentially, I have to manage double the expenses with my single income. I was already on the verge of burnout, and with this, it feels like a mountain ahead of me. But I'm going to do what I have to do. Open new credit cards, cutting down on my expenses and rebuilding. It's so pathetic. She's sipping cocktails on the beach while I'm hustling for 50 hours a week to keep everything running. What a witch. Dude, she did not go find herself. She packed up, raided your savings, and went on a glorified vacation funded by your hard work. And then she has the nerve to post that crap on Instagram? Grateful for my husband's support? What? You didn't support her. You got blindsided. Man, that's actually insane. Like full-on crazy talk. You don't just wake up one morning, decide, death feels kind of close, and then vanish across the world with half the savings and the maybe. What the F? Update 1. Thanks for all the support. I'll try and answer everything people asked in the first post. You guys are right. She's entitled. She didn't want to wait for a year and plan everything out. She chose the easy way, dumped everything on me and ran away. Knew I would cover it for her so that she could come back whenever she wanted and not worry about that empty savings. This realization didn't come easy. It isn't easy to believe that the person with whom I had spent more than half of my life betrayed me. For the first month, I was holding on to the hope that she would return. Whenever the doorbell rang or a car pulled up near my driveway, I wished it was her. With time, the hope faded and reality kicked in. She was busy exploring herself and posting on social media. Once she posted herself in a spa parlor, and when I googled that place, I found several reviews about the shady activities happening there. They gave male to female massages with happy endings, which basically meant masseurs effed their clients after the massage. I would be a fool to believe that she was getting a nude massage from a guy and not crossing her boundary. Going to strip clubs and yacht parties and not hooking up? It was difficult seeing it and not losing my mind. I wanted to block her, but my lawyer advised against it. Suggested I keep the channel open for communication. It would be helpful in a divorce settlement. The things that kept me steady was building my arsenal and having my kids around. When they saw her first post, they immediately contacted me and asked about it. All 3 were horrified to know what their mother had did to me. I told them I was divorcing her. She's talking to our eldest daughter, but not me. I also didn't call her after the first day. When our daughter told her about the divorce, she didn't take it seriously. She said she would deal with it after coming back. She's so sure that I would take her back. I also informed her other family members, her siblings and her other aunts and uncles and friends that she had abandoned me. It wasn't mutual, and this whole Instagram thing of healing herself is a big lie. Her best friend also confirmed my doubts. Said, "Hope you know she's cheating on you." I asked her how she could be so sure about it. She informed me that Eliza had video called her one afternoon showing her the scenic beach where she was lying topless. In the middle of it, a guy came from behind her and grabbed her tits and kissed her. She immediately hung up and later texted that it was some random guy who misunderstood her as his girlfriend. I replied I wasn't a fool to believe that she was out exploring herself while being loyal to the marriage. All this time, I was in constant touch with my lawyer. He said she would have to pay the money she had taken away or any division of assets which would include that money, which kind of relieved my senses. After 30 years of marriage, it's not like you can split cleanly. Some of you suggested I sell the house. Not possible because her name is on it. It's cheaper to pay the mortgage than find a judge who would sign off on the selling of a joint asset. So, I'll just wait for now. Renting this out and moving to a smaller place is not a cheap option. Have to fix a lot of things before leasing it out. All my kids' stuff is still here. I'll have to move them to storage. That would be, again, an additional cost, and I don't want to deal with them right now. House mortgage, rent of a new place, storage charge, packers and movers cost. All too much to handle. Someone also suggested I track her down and serve her. Again, to track her was challenging. Besides, I don't want to be a dog who chases her, so I chose the other option, to wait. My daughter informed me that Eliza told her she would be coming on Christmas, either for a visit or to stay. I'm planning to serve her then. Get her to agree on the terms and close it. That would be the cheapest option. If she doesn't agree, it would get expensive and complicated. Now, I'm in a better position than I was 4 months back. I sat down with my fund manager and did the math. The money I would get after selling the house would cover all the debts, the lawyer's fees, and the cost of the divorce. Also, she has to agree to the lifestyle to earn less, so I don't have to be bothered about her maintenance. The way she's blowing up the money in her massage retreats, beaches, and mountain trails, I bet she's going to exhaust all the money in the next few months, but she's not my problem anymore. Now, when I am in a financially better position, I realize it's not so bad as I perceived. It's actually liberating to have the house by myself. The reason I was burnt out was not due to my work, but dealing with her constant anxiety and mental state. Update 2. She came back as if nothing happened. I never thought I'd see her again this soon. It happened a week before Thanksgiving. I was at work in the middle of a meeting when my phone started buzzing. I looked down, and for a second my brain didn't even register the name on the screen. Eliza. I froze. My heart actually skipped. After 10 months of nothing, it felt unreal, like a ghost calling from another world. I stepped outside to take it. The first thing I heard wasn't hello or how are you. It was her angry voice saying, "Why isn't the lock opening with my keys?" I took a second before quietly answering, "Because the locks are changed." She went silent, then replied in a wounded tone, "You changed the locks on me? On your wife?" My lawyer had already warned me against getting into any kind of emotional confrontation, so in a neutral tone I said, "I cannot let you inside the house while I was away." She said she was back now. I wanted to talk and straighten out things. I told her I'd be back in my usual time and hung up. My hands were shaking. I didn't know if it was anger or disbelief or both. On the way home, I stopped by my lawyer's office and picked up the papers. We'd finalized everything, just needed her signature. I didn't want to drag it out anymore. When I pulled up to the house, she was standing on the front porch. She had that glow people get when they spend months on beaches doing yoga and pretending they're healing. Sun-kissed skin, new haircut, designer luggage beside her. You'd never guess she'd left her husband and torched her savings. She tried to smile. "You changed the locks." Without saying anything, I handed her the papers. She wasn't shocked. Probably saw this coming because my daughter had conveyed this to her earlier. She just stared at the envelope for a while, slightly annoyed, and asked, "Can we talk? Please? We can still fix this." I said this is final, and it's better for both of us that we mutually agree on the terms. I opened the door and let her in. Told her, "You can grab your stuff if you want, but make it quick. My girlfriend will be coming over for the night." She looked at me in disbelief. I didn't react or explain. After she abandoned me with piles of debt, she doesn't deserve any explanation. She held my arms and pleaded, "Can we talk, please?" I replied sure, and turned on the audio recorder on my phone. She snapped, "What are you doing? Why are you recording? It's the personal talks between me and my husband." I wanted to have a bitter laugh and maybe give her a piece of my mind, but then I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of closure. With cold professionalism, I replied, "We're in the process of divorce. I want my lawyers to be aware of all talks between us, hence this." She started crying, told me she was sorry, that she was lost, that the trip was transformative, and she finally understood who she was. I didn't ask if she had cheated. It didn't matter to me. Regardless of whether she has or hasn't, I was divorcing her. But she herself claimed she hadn't cheated, that everything I saw or heard was misunderstood, that the messages were chakra cleansing, Those were part of her spiritual healing. For those who don't know this, it means paid sex. You can call it whatever you want to free your guilt, but this is what it is. Young masseurs pleasuring you down there and pretending it's spiritual instead of sexual. It's sex and cheating and nowhere close to any form of religious acts. She tried to defend, give logic, and back it up with science, but I wasn't listening, just scrolling through my iPad. She wiped her tears and suddenly went calm. Too calm, and softly said, "Okay, if that's what you want." That's when my instincts kicked in because she never gives up that easily. I asked her, "How much money do you have left?" She looked away, hesitated, and whispered, "Can cover for 2 more months." I swear, I felt my stomach drop. That money was supposed to last her at least 3 to 4 years. The money she took from our savings, which I'd worked half my life for, was gone in 10 months. I didn't even bother to know where it went because I know where she blew him off. Paid sex isn't cheap. She agreed on the divorce terms and said she would be hiring a lawyer and getting it reviewed before signing it. I realized she wasn't doing it out of guilt or understanding. She needed the settlement. When she asked if she could stay through Thanksgiving and Christmas, I said no. She looked shocked, like she thought I'd melt at the sight of her tears. I didn't. I told her she could come pick up her stuff later with notice, but she wasn't setting foot in the house again. I was expecting her to fight, but she didn't. She was shocked to know that I had moved on so fast. Though she didn't voice it out directly, I could sense it, and later she vented out to our daughter that I showed no emotion on her return. She expected me to be angry and questioning her, why she left, or have a confrontation. My coldness and indifference bothered her. On Thanksgiving, the kids, except the younger one, showed up to meet me. They brought takeaways and we had good times. She spent the holiday at her sister's without the children. She invited them, but none showed up. I'm not celebrating this as my win. I know the children would come around eventually. Probably that's the healthy way for them. I don't want them to take sides. Before anyone asks, yes, I'm seeing someone. Not a girlfriend yet. It was just a white lie to chase out the soon-to-be ex-wife away from the house. I spent most of my holiday alone, cooking for myself, enjoying with a bottle of whiskey, and watching It's a Wonderful Life on TV. The divorce is yet to be finalized, but we have agreed on the terms. To sell the house and split everything. The money she ran away with would be considered her share of the assets. She also would have to pay half the money I had spent on mortgages and bills while she was away. She agreed to get it settled from her share. She has also put up her car for sale to reserve the cash. Getting her to agree on everything wasn't easy. Initially, she tried to push back a lot, but then it became costly for her. Each court hearing was creating a dent in her share of the savings, and she was in need of money. Ultimately, she had no choice but to agree on the terms and close this. After everything, she's left with barely anything. She has already blown off her share of the savings on her 10 months of exploration. I calculated that the money she would get ultimately would barely last her for a year, even if she lived frugally. Anyway, her problem. That's it for now. I'll probably update if I have anything or once everything is settled. The fact that she had the nerve to be offended that the locks didn't work? What did she expect? A welcome home banner and her old key under the mat? That chakra cleansing excuse nearly killed me. She basically said, "It's not infidelity, it's energy work." Yeah, sure. My dude, she didn't go to heal. She went to get serviced. Has anyone ever dipped out like that on you before? Share your stories with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.